ما سمعتك. ماذا قلت شيخنا؟
قلت جديد. ما هو الجديد؟
لا قلت يعني الحلقة الجديدة هذه يعني.
نعم نعم.
الحمد لله. بارك الله فيك. فنحن الحمد لله مستعدون. فالآن وصلنا لليوتيوب، فابدأ إن شاء الله عند عودتك. وفقكم الله.
إذا أردت البدء أخبرني.
طيب، فتريد أن ندخل في الأسئلة؟ سأنظر الآن يعني هل سأل.
إذا كان أسئلة كثيرة أحسن ندخل في الأسئلة.
نعم. فالآن ما في أسئلة الآن، لعلك تبدأ حتى يدخلوا. تبدأ في الموعد إن شاء الله في تذكيره بارك الله فيك.
طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام الأتمان الأكملان على محمد رسول الله سيد الأولين والآخرين وإمام الأنبياء والمرسلين والشافع المشفع يوم الدين، وعلى آله الطيبين وأزواجه الطاهرات أمهات المؤمنين وصحابته الغر الميامين ومن استنى بسنته واهتدى بهديه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ one day led the Sahaba on a janazah prayer, and then they all went to the Baqi' graveyard to bury this janazah, or the deceased body. But they found the grave hasn't been digged yet. So they were waiting by it until it's finished after being digging, or after being digged. So while they were waiting, the Prophet ﷺ gave a reminder to the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum. And from that reminder is what he said. He said, لِمِثْلِ هَذَا فَلْيَعْمَلِ الْعَامِلُونَ. So he said to them, for such a moment, let those who do what they're supposed to do. And it is as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah As-Saffat, where Allah ta'ala said, لِمِثْلِ هَذَا فَلْيَعْمَلِ الْعَامِلُونَ. لِمِثْلِ هَذَا فَلْيَعْمَلِ الْعَامِلُونَ. And this means that one needs to get ready for that moment when he is left alone. When he is left alone there in the grave. And as we are to these days, in the best days and best nights which may contain one night that equals in reward of any deed in it more than 1,000 months. That's why one needs to do his best these days. Leave no space for entertainment. Leave no time for enjoying. As Rasulullah ﷺ used once the 10 nights enters, he used to abandon even the wife enjoyment. And it is not due to the i'tikaf, because Aisha radiallahu anha said that when he ﷺ did not used to do i'tikaf in the last 10 nights, because he only did the i'tikaf in the last 10 nights in the last year. And he used to do the i'tikaf at the beginning in the first 10 nights, and then in this middle 10 nights, and then in the last 10 nights towards the end of his life. But she, radiallahu anha, said that once the last 10 nights used to enter, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to tie his lower garment and stop enjoying wives and spend all night in worshipping Allah the Almighty. To the limit that when he did the i'tikaf in his masjid, it wasn't as the i'tikaf of many people today. Many people today, they go for i'tikaf for kind of joy, kind of entertainment. Their mobile phones with them, all social media with them 24 hours. They have friendship and they book places next to each other's, and they book for one another. They book for their friends to be next to them. So they chat and talk. And the Prophet ﷺ's i'tikaf was so different. He used to make the Sahaba build a tent for him inside his masjid. And he gets into the tent talking to nobody. Nobody, literally nobody. Abu Bakr, Umar, whoever, Ali, no one. Uthman, no one. Even his wives. Only one wall separate between his houses and his mosque. But yet he doesn't speak to them. He just spend the time in worshiping Allah with the many different types of worships, remembrance, dua, recitation of Quran, prayers. So one need to estimate the proper value of these nights, not to waste the time of it. Especially this year, ya ikhwa, because we see many people falling dead for this coronavirus. Who can guarantee that it doesn't attack us? Who can guarantee that we stay alive until end of Ramadan? Who can assure that we see the next Ramadan? That's why Allah Ta'ala said, لِمِثْلِ هَذَا فَلْيَعْمَلِ الْعَامِلُونَ. For such moments, for such a place, let those who hope to work and do their best, not only rely upon hope without doing, hope without doing any action of worship to adhere your hope, then it's only a dream. It's only a mirage. It's only a mirage in the desert. You see it, you think it's water, but when you run towards it, you can't find it. That's how hope do for people of laziness. But people who are serious and they seriously looking forward to adhere the pleasure of Allah and be in the highest of the Jannah, along with the prophets and messengers and martyrs and pious people and martyrs. These ones who have this hope, they work for it. They work harder and harder and harder every time. They do worship, they follow it with more worships. They spend some time in worship, they follow it with a longer time spent on worship. That's how the pious people are. Not being active at the beginning of Ramadan and towards the end become lazy, become worried about the clothes of Eid, become worried about who to visit in the Eid, where to go in the Eid, become worried about the meals of Eid. That's not the pious people. Pious people always look for the food of the Jannah, which you cannot find but by performing more and more worship. May Allah Ta'ala make us from those who Allah Ta'ala says to them, كلوا واشربوا هنيئا بما أسلفتم في الأيام الخالية. Eat and drink as you for what you did in the past days, meaning in your worldly life. So we need to use the time of these nights, ya ikhwah, with the worships and focus on worship and abandon all sub-talks, all non-beneficial talks, all actions and sayings that are not going to bring you closer to Allah. Just focus on your business. You want the Jannah and you want the highest of the Jannah, so you be close to the throne of Allah. You be around the Prophet ﷺ, then work for it. A man came to Rasulullah ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, ask Allah to make me your companion in the Jannah. A great request. But look to the price. He ﷺ said to the man, anything else other than that? He said, no, but that. The Prophet ﷺ replied saying, then help me by performing sujood, meaning by doing lots of worship, not only the obligatory worships, but do of the optional worships. And the best of what you do these nights is 4 things. 4 things. Praying, reciting Quran, supplicating, and performing remembrance of Allah. Remembrance of Allah. And these all are easy. And these days are only limited. What we have remaining is either 4 or 5 days maximum. We are on the 25th of Ramadan. Maybe Ramadan is 29 days only, so you have only 4 days left. Maybe it is 30 days, then you have 5 days left. That's not much, Akhwan. Remember when we were in Sha'ban, still the noises of the discussion that we had still in the ears. Are we going to continue in lockdown in Ramadan? Ramadan is coming. Where are we going to pray? Taraweeh, how are we going to pray Taraweeh? And when Ramadan entered and we are in the lockdown, talks did not stop, and I still hear it in my ear. Still hear their questions. Are we going to make i'tikaf? Is i'tikaf allowed in the houses if it is not, if there is no masajid opening? Subhanallah. Now we are in the middle day of the i'tikaf days. 5 days already gone, 5 nights already gone. 5 nights of the last 10 nights already finished, passed. As today by sunset, we're receiving the 26th night. So you only have either 3 nights left or 4 nights left. Stop asking questions. Are we going to do i'tikaf here? Is it allowed? Are we going to pray Eid? Search about that. La la. Now focus on the duties of these nights. What it is? It is only to focus on 4 things. Reciting Quran, standing for prayer, supplication, remembrance, and that's it. Easy, easy, very easy. Do not make it difficult and hard and complicated. By sunset of today, leave everything. Delicious food, etc., etc. Only 3 or 4 nights. Then you're gonna eat. You're gonna spend times in the kitchen. You're gonna although it's not recommended, it's not advisable, but I mean, don't let these days and these nights go from you without having them used well and wisely. Leave everything in hand. You haven't bought clothes for Eid, it doesn't matter. You still have clothes of last year Eid. It doesn't matter. Remember, there are many people around the world, they don't have clothes at all. And some of them have clothes which they are wearing for 10 years now. Alhamdulillah, you still have the last Eid clothes. So just use your time. Use your time. May Allah Ta'ala accept from us all and make us from those who stand the night of Al-Qadr, Iman and Ihtisab, and believing and seeking the reward from Allah. And may Allah Ta'ala make us from those who stand fast and stand for night prayers in Ramadan, Iman and Ihtisaban. Wallahu a'lam. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sallam.
بارك الله فيك شيخ وجزاك الله خيرا. Sheikh, first question. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, as mentioned in the hadith, that he used to disengage from being or marital intercourse.
If you ارفع الصوت كده.
تسمعني الآن؟
الآن أسمعك.
ما شاء الله. نعم. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he used to, كما قلت أو كما في الحديث that he used to refrain from being with the family for the last 10 days. يعني جماعة. It was only the last. جزاك الله خير. فهمت السؤال واضح؟
الصوت يعني breaking يتقطع. ايش قلت الأخير؟
الآن
أي تفضل.
تسمع؟
أسمع.
نعم. As the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we know he used to refrain from intercourse for the last 10 nights. As the hadith, he used to tighten his belt. Did he do it for the whole of Ramadan or the last 10 nights?
لا, only in the last 10 nights. Only in the last 10 nights, as Aisha radiallahu anha said that he used to mix between sleeping and standing for night prayer in the first 20 nights, but when it is the last 10 nights, he tied his lower garment and he abandoned his intercourse with his families and only stand for night prayer. That's in the last 10 nights.
Jazakum Allah khair wa ahsan Allah ilayh. Another question here. In regards to Eid, what is the ruling on Eid? نعم. So for in Eid, is it permissible to dance and listen to nasheeds for all? Is that allowed in Eid?
Well, the Prophet ﷺ one day in Eid, he was sitting in his house when two young girls were playing with their duf, and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq entered, and he said, Abu Bakr Umar, he said, Mizmaru al-Shaytan fi bayti Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, is it the drum or the music of the shaitan played in the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, leave them, let the people, meaning the non-Muslims, let the people know that it is Eid, and let the people know that in our religion there is some space for entertainment. So it's allowed, but we never hear that the Prophet ﷺ or the Sahaba danced as men. But as women, yes. Men, it's not from manhood to dance. But for women, yes. And not in front of the non-mahram men. No.
Barakallah fi Shaykh wa jazakallah khair. Another question here. A husband's asking, is it permissible for him to forbid his wife from being involved in charity organizations due to the fear that she will be kept busy off of a lot of...
Yes, the woman, once she got married, then her time belongs to her husband. And that's why not only being involved in organizational, the Prophet ﷺ said that the woman is not permissible for her to do optional fasting if her husband is present, except with permission. She has to ask permission from him to fast for Allah, rather to get join and be busy with organizations, even in da'wah, because his rights is wajib, and that is nafila, sunnah. Naam, wallahu a'lam.
things. Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana, barakallah feek. So we have a question here from YouTube. Someone's asking, if a person doesn't want to get married, they have no desire for it, is it haram for them to not do so, especially if they feel they won't be able to fulfill the rights of the spouse?
No, it is not haram, but it is better and best for man and woman to marry. As the Prophet ﷺ said, "Inni mukathirun bikum al-umam yawm al-qiyamah," meaning that I am on the day of resurrection, I'm going to show the other prophets that my followers, my ummah, is greater in number. So if you marry, you're going to increase the number of the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that is a kind of ibadah. Marriage is a ibadah. Marriage is a ibadah. So to marry is good, but if you don't want to marry and you can have control over yourself, and you are busy with something that is great. For example, Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah did not marry until he died, but see what he left for the ummah. See what he left for the ummah. But to just not to marry and sit like that, enjoy your time here and there, that's an easy hunt for the shaitan. And it is not recommended, but the best is to marry. As Allah Ta'ala said, وَيُزَوِّجُكُمْ ذُكْرَانًا وَإِنَاثًا. And here Allah Ta'ala make you marry male and female. Na'am, wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana, wa barakallah feek. Another question, sister's asking, can a woman live with her husband's family temporarily if he has brothers? If her father-in-law and husband are always present and she wears niqab, is that allowed?
If it is a necessity, yes, it's allowed if she wears niqab all the time and stay with the boundaries of etiquettes, no laughing, no joking, no like that, and not stay lonely with the brother of the husband, but with the presence of the rest of the family, then yes, it's allowed.
Ahsanallahu ilayk wa jazakumullah khair. Another question here, sister's asking, is it best to do witr dua before ruku' or after? Also, during the witr dua, should the imam raise his hands or lower them?
The witr is two types. We have, the dua, the qunut is of two types. We have qunut al-witr and we have qunut al-nawazil. Qunut al-nawazil is the dua for calamities. Qunut al-witr, the sunnah is to be before ruku', but no problem if it is done after ruku'. But the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is to be done before ruku'. And in the witr, in the dua of witr, there is the sunnah is not to raise hands. But again, if you raise hands, inshallah, no problem. The witr qunut, best for it is what the Prophet ﷺ taught al-Hasan ibn Ali. Al-Hasan ibn Ali. اللهم اهدني فيمن هديت وعافني فيمن عافيت, to the end of the dua, which ends by لا ملجأ منك إلا إليك. But the people today, especially the imams, they extend and they bring many du'as, and they even say it in a way, in the same way of reciting the Quran. All this is not from the etiquettes of dua, is not from the sunnah in the dua of witr. Dua of nazila must be limited to the calamity that they are making dua for it. And the dua of nazila is to be done in the obligatory prayer, in the last rak'ah, after raising up from ruku'. After raising up from ruku' of last rak'ah, the imam raises his head and makes the dua. Na'am, wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair wa barakallah fiqh, Shaykhna. Next question, move on to, I have bad thoughts in salah. It's getting worse in Ramadan. What can I do?
What is that?
The question is asking about al-waswas in salah. He said it's getting worse during Ramadan. What can he do?
The remedy of waswas always is just to ignore it and do opposite of what it says. If it says you have done 3 rak'at, not 4, just ignore it and consider it 4. If it says you have lost your wudu, ignore it and continue salah as you are. The best is to ignore it. That's it.
Jazakallah khair. Barakallah fiqh. Another question here. Question is asking, should we pray Eid prayer in Jama'ah with the family at home this year or individually?
لا, pray in Jama'ah. نعم.
نعم تفضل شيخ.
أقول pray in Jama'ah, congregational, with the family members of the same house. Not family, they come from here and there because they are, mashallah, one of this house family member, and their cousin, their nephew is, mashallah, memorizing Quran, has good voice, or student of knowledge. So they all come from here and there and gather in the same house, and they say we are in the family house. La, family house, household only. You who's living with you in the house, you pray Salatul Eid in Jama'ah with this small family members of that house. As Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu used, whenever he misses the Salatul Eid, he returns back and he gathers his family and lead him in Salatul Eid. But there is no khutbah, because the khutbah of Salatul Eid is like the khutbah of Yom Arafah, only for the Imam. Like in Arafah, only the Imam meaning the ruler who is leading the Hajj. That is the one who gives the khutbah, or he assigns someone to give the khutbah, but only one khutbah in Arafah. Same thing in the house now. It's only, same thing in Salatul Eid. The khutbah is only in the musalla. Or now the masjid. But in the house, no khutbah. Naam, wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykhana, wa barakallah fiqh. Another question here. If a person, for example, had £1,000 in Ramadan last year, and 3 months after that, the amount increased to 1,300, does he pay this Ramadan zakat over 1,000 or over 1,300?
This is called the monthly deposit or monthly savings. It's like the one who has monthly earning, like an employee receiving salary. If you uh, if you want, there are two ways. One way is to make a schedule of each month. For example, year 2019, you start January, I had this amount. February, this, until you come January to 20. You go to the beginning of the schedule and you see January 2019, I had, let's say, 300 pounds. You give zakah for 300 pounds. But this is difficult calculation, very difficult. That's why the ulama say better to go with the other solution. What it is, you say every Ramadan, I give out my zakah. Whatever I have, when I saved it, I will get, that is my due of zakah. So when Ramadan comes, then you look to how much money you have, you own, how much money you own. Then you take out the 2.5% out of it as a zakah. Regardless, this amount has 3 months only, this amount has 7, this amount has 1 year. But you calculate all of it and take out 2.5%. That's, first of all, zakah never reduce your money. Second, this gave you safe side that you did not miss anything to be zakat to be given for. And by that, Allah Ta'ala increase your wealth. Wallahu a'lam.
أحسن الله إليك شيخنا. Another question here. What is the method of reading the book تاريخ الإسلامي?
The method is to open the book and read it. If you are qualified. Because تاريخ, any books of history is not a book of authenticity, because the historians, they register or they write whatever they hear. That's why Imam al-Bukhari, who has the most authentic book of man made, which is Sahih Bukhari, he had a book that he never said it is authentic, which is a Tarikh al-Kabir. And he has a Tarikh al-Awsat and he has a Tarikh al-Saghir. He has 3 books in Tarikh, in history. But he didn't say that it's authentic. He did not guarantee it like he guaranteed Sahih al-Bukhari. Why? Because to guarantee a book of history, it's something very, 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 very difficult. Because you only hear and write. To go and chase everything you hear, this take ages. Ages. That's why book of history, you read it as book of history. You don't take from it anything as a matter of worship or a matter of definite news. But you read it to just increase your information about the past. That's it. Wallahu a'lam.
جزاك الله خير وأحسن الله إليك. Another question here is asking scholars such as Shaykh ibn Baz, Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan, they say there's no udhr bil jahl, no excuse for ignorance, for shirk, but many people, they claim there is. What is correct?
No, the mistake here, the wrong here is what you understood from Shaykh ibn Baz and Shaykh Uthaymeen. They Shaykh Fawzan, they don't say there is no udhr bil jahl. No, they say there is no udhr bil jahl for one who reads the Quran and understands it. There is no udhr bil jahl. Okay, where's the udhr bil jahl for Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl? when they hear the Quran, they immediately knew what it wants. That's why when Allah, that's why Allah Ta'ala said, وَإِذَا سَمُعُوا الذِّكْرَ قالوا نعم أعرضوا عنه. And whenever they hear the Quran, they turn away and they don't want to hear it. And Allah Ta'ala said about them saying, أَجَعَلَ الْآلِهَةَ إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا. So they understood the Quran and what the Quran wants from them, to stop worshipping Hubal, Allat, Uzza, whatever they worship, but worship Allah alone. They said, is it, does it want us to only worship one God? So they understood. Where is the udhr now for them? No udhr. So that's what Shaykh Ibn Baz and Shaykh Fawzan and take it from me, all the ulama say. All the ulama say, if the person reads the Quran and he understands it, understand Arabic, not necessarily to be a scholar to understand the very, very detail of Quran. La. Basic Arabic. If you understand what it means, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, that's finished. No udhr. Where is the udhr? Where is the udhr? Where is the excuse? When you say to Allah, only you I worship, only you I seek help from, and then you go to the wali in the grave and say, help me. So where is the udhr now? Where is the udhr? That is what the meaning of that Shaykh Ibn Baz and Shaykh Fawzan say. And it doesn't mean that these two sheikhs are the only ones. La. They are the only ones, not the only, but they are the ones who declared it to the all public, laymen and students of knowledge. But it is the saying of all the scholars from the Sahaba until our date. All of them, they say there is udhr bil jahl for one who doesn't understand. A revert who just came to Islam and he is non-Arab. So how come I don't give him udhr bil jahl? How come? He's jahil. The Prophet ﷺ gave udhr bil jahl to the man who said, اجعل لنا ذات أنواط, because he was just new Muslim. He just came to Islam. But at the same time, the Prophet ﷺ was very tough in responding to this. So it doesn't mean that Shaykh Ibn Baz and Shaykh Fawzan, they do say no udhr bil jahl. La, that's incorrect. They say there is udhr bil jahl, but for whom? For the one who has jahl. You give excuse with jahl for the one who has jahl, not for the one who doesn't have jahl. That sounds very strange. Someone with the knowledge, you say we have to give him udhr bil jahl. How come that be? How come that be? There's difference between udhr bil jahl with someone who understands the Quran and someone who doesn't understand the Quran. The one who doesn't understand the Quran, yes, we can give him udhr bil jahl. As Allah Ta'ala said, وإن أحد من المشركين استجارك فأجره حتى يسمع كلام الله. حتى يسمع كلام الله. Then the udhr is gone, finished. He hears the speech of Allah. When one of the atheists, one of the mushrikeen seek protection from you, protect him. Provide him protection until he hears the speech of Allah, the Quran. So he heard it. After that, how come I give him udhr bil jahl? That sounds very strange. Sounds very strange. Then khalas, the one who drinks khamr and he reads the Quran, we say we have to give him udhr bil jahl. Then no punishment. The one who steals and he reads وَالسَّارِقُ وَالسَّارِقَ فَاقْطَعُوا أَيْدِيَهُمَا, we say we have to give him udhr bil jahl. We have to give him udhr bil jahl. Then no punishment. One who kills intentionally and he hears in the Quran, لَكُمْ بِالْقِصَاصِ حَيَاتٌ, we say, oh, but we have to give him udhr bil jahl. one who goes to the grave and asks for help and for يعني this and that, and he reads إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين إن الذين تدعون من دون الله, etc., etc., and we say we give him other rijal, then where is the Amr Ma'ruf Nahy al Munkar? What is the meaning of this pillar of the religion? There is no need for Amr Ma'ruf and Nahy al Munkar if we just yani every sinner or innovator or mushrik, we have to give him udhr bil jahl. Then what is the purpose of Amr Ma'ruf and Nahy al Munkar? Why you do Nahy al Munkar? Where is the Munkar? This is not Munkar because he's Jahil. Ya ikhwan, we have to understand. Udhr bil jahl for one who doesn't understand the Quran, didn't hear the ulama, didn't know what is the da'wah. That's why Rasulullah said, لا يسمع بي أحد من هذه الأمة يهوديا أو نصرانيا ثم لا يؤمن بي إلا أدخله الله النار. Before, and he said, no one hears of me. So before he hears of him, he has udhr. But after he hears of him, of Rasulullah, he has no udhr not to accept Islam. We have to understand this matter very well. And at the end, when we say udhr bil jahl, you cannot just go and implement it yourself if you are not alim and you start criticizing people. This is kafir, this is fasiq, this is la la la. This is the duty of the ulama. Exactly like when you say the thief is guilty. Yeah, but you are not the judge. You cannot discipline. You are not the judge. The judge is the one to discipline. You knew that he's guilty, but you cannot do anything. Same thing with that. The alim is the one who has to say this person is mubtadi' or not mubtadi', is salafi or not salafi. The alim, not you. نعم والله أعلم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه.
أحسن الله عليك جزاكم الله خير. نقف عند هذا؟
أي نعم الآن وقت الصلاة. الله يحفظك.
حياكم الله حياكم الله.
إن شاء الله نلتقي غدا بإذن الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاكم الله خير. So brothers and sisters, inshallah, we continue tomorrow 6 p.m. بإذن Kareem. We will give updates in regards to what's happening after Ramadan. So stay in tuned whether we're going to continue with the Q&A or not after Ramadan. That will be released inshallah ta'ala. I know there's a few more questions left, mashallah, some good questions as well. Honestly, come back, especially the two at the bottom, just ask the two last questions. You can come back with those questions inshallah tomorrow.